Hi, so I'm joined with Chris Panteli from Linkifi, and today's video is about what is expert quote links in digital PR.
Hey James, thanks for having me. So expert quote links are inbound requests from journalists looking to source experts which they can quote in their articles. And then as SEOs, we call it expert quote link building because when we provide that commentary, that quote, we want to be quoted, but we also want them to link back to us. And that's the expert quote link.
Yeah, I mean, some people used to call it like Haro links. Some people call it expert commentary. Some people call it just quote links and stuff like that. So why is it that journalists want to get these expert commentary kind of snippets of content in their articles?
Yeah, basically it just enhances the validity of the article that they're writing. And oftentimes they're not looking for anything groundbreaking. They're not looking for anything out of the box thinking. They already know the answer to the questions that they're asking. You'll often see this with finance queries. Maybe they've written, a journalist is writing a piece on how to reduce your credit score, so how to increase your credit score. They know the answers. So if they're asking for an expert to give a quote on that, they're not looking to change the world with their article. What they're looking to do is for the 4 or 5 ways that they're going to suggest to improve your credit score, they want a quote from an expert to either agree or, explain in their own words why this is a good way. And that further enhances the credibility of what the journalist has written, because a finance expert, maybe an accountant, has quoted what they believe, and then the journalist has included that quote in the article.
So this expert commentary in digital PR, do you think that it's got a decent, obviously it's good for branding and getting your name out there, but do you also think it's got a value to SEO, your website as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the link in of itself, with the recent Google leaks, we have to take it obviously at face value, but, a couple of the metrics that were clearly in there at some point, almost certainly being used by Google, and chances are still being used by Google. They talk about the power of links being from fresh pages on tier 1 publications. So that is exactly what we do and what we're talking about. So tier 1 publications is huge authoritative publications. Chances are you've heard of them: Forbes, New York Times, Express, The Sun. Big publications, high DR, huge amounts of organic monthly traffic, and then fresh pages. So a new article being produced for that particular website. And oftentimes as well, we'll see huge amounts of traffic going to these newly produced pieces of content on these new news publications, which will drive click-throughs as well if the journalist has included the link.
Yeah, I think the great thing about a lot of these articles is that it gets in Google News, and then sometimes also can get the article in Google Discover. And I've always said one of the best type of links that you can get is on a high authoritative site that is relevant and that's got traffic. And that's exactly what these expert quote links are bringing. So very quickly, anyone who's not seen yet the video, there's a link in the description about the new era of digital PR with regards to Haro, help a reporter out, being moved over and upgraded to Connectively. So Chris, are you using Connectively? Is that the only tool you're using? There's a few other digital PR agencies using tools like Quoted. I think there's 1 or 2 others like Press Plugs, help a B2B writer and stuff like that. I think there's a couple of others as well. There's certain hashtags that you can use. So how are you managing? Because I see you as being the market leader in Haro, or what was known as Haro, now Connectively, and expert quote links. Like, what tools are you just using the one tool, or are you using a collection of all these different tools to get the expert quote links?
Yeah, well, thanks for those kind words, James. But yeah, we use not all of them, but most of the ones that you just mentioned. There's a lot of overlap. So if you're doing this as an individual, I'd focus on one. I think they're all pay to play now. So if you're gonna, actually, I think Quoted is you can get a free account, but beyond the free pitches, which I think is probably similar to Connectively, I think a handful of free pitches per month. Beyond that, there is a lot of overlap. So as an agency, obviously it's the gaps between the overlap which makes the difference. So if there's one publication, like a really beautiful publication, but the journalist that's sourcing expert commentary for that publication they write for is only on one very specific platform, let's say they're only doing it through press plugs, then we want to be on that platform because we want that publication because we know how valuable it is. But yeah, we actually bring everything into like an Airtable, and we process all of the queries, and then we assign them to our clients that we think is relevant. But yeah, I would recommend using as many as you can, and then also doing X because X is free. The journalists will often post their expert comment requests to these individual platforms, which beyond your free pitches on Quoted or Connectively will charge you to pitch, but they'll also post that expert source request on their Twitter account, and they'll use either hashtag PR request or hashtag journo request. So keep an eye out on X as well, because that's a great place to find these, and they'll often just include their direct email as well in the X post, and then boom, if you provide good commentary, you then started a relationship with a journalist as well, who oftentimes will write for more than one publication.
For anyone who's looking to do digital PR, I'd also strongly recommend checking out the link in the description where me and Chris talk about the difference between reactive PR campaigns and expert quote links, expert commentary, like what Chris does as well. But also, I want to touch a little bit on how you managed to get, from getting the expert quote links, actual branded articles in digital PR, because the journalist and reporter really liked the commentary and the quote of what you did, and they wanted to expand and do more articles on it, and how that expert quote link then led for your relationship with that reporter to then actually get a branded digital PR campaign set up as well. Just for people to understand that there's more to it than just the SEO value, getting the name out there, getting the backlink. It also builds that relationship up with that reporter or journalist that's writing in the exact topic and industry that you're in, that then might further expand on getting actual branded digital PR articles about your company.
Yeah, so first and foremost, the journalist is looking to please their bosses. So if you provide a good quote that they've sourced expert commentary for, either personally from you or on behalf of a client, and they publish that article, let's say on the Express, they've included your comments, and then their bosses say, this article's done really well. It's had 100,000 views. It's done really well on social. It's gone on to Google Discover. We're really pleased with it. They're going to be really pleased. And they're also going to be really pleased with the comments that you provided as an expert. Also, it goes a long way to say that the better the expertise and the more web visibility that the expert that you've provided has, the more trust that journalist and that journalist bosses has in that expert. So that's quite a key part of it, making sure that the expert's visible on LinkedIn and other social platforms. That's a really, really good way to enhance the credibility of that expert. Then that journalist will often be working either for one major publication or oftentimes multiple publications, and they're in constant need to produce good content. So if you can take the proactive PR route as opposed to waiting for those inbound expert commentary, you can just go directly to that journalist and say, would you be interested in taking some PR campaigns that either you have individually or you have for other clients within the same niche? Let's say this journalist he's on a lifestyle desk or the health and fitness desk, let's say. You can go to them and say, I've got a couple of clients in the health and fitness space. We've got the Euros coming up. I've got a couple of really interesting campaigns that tie in fitness with the Euro campaigns. Would you be interested in having a look? That journalist is either going to say yes or no. Chances are they'll say yes, they'll have a look. And if you've produced a really interesting campaign, then you've made their job super easy, that they can then go to their bosses and say, hey, I've got this really good fitness instructor who represents, let's say, this gym. It's a gym owner, a gym brand. Chances are they're going to run with that story, and that story is going to be about the idea that you've come up with, but it's going to prominently feature the expert and therefore that company within the article. You will have seen these in the Sun, the Express, US publications as well, New York Post, where they publish an article and it's specifically from the perspective of that expert and therefore that company. And that brand building is super valuable.
Yeah, great answer there. So anyone who's watching this, are you actually doing expert quote link building as part of your digital PR campaigns? Are you doing any sort of digital PR? Check out one last link in the description. I actually do a full interview with Chris Panteli from Linkifi. Let's see whether you think it's worth doing the expert quote link building in-house, or whether you feel that you should be outsourcing it to somebody like Linkifi and Chris Panteli. Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on and explaining the ins and outs of expert link building. If anyone needs to get hold of you, where's the best place to capture your information?
Thanks, James. Yeah, it's been awesome. Linkifi.io, Twitter, Linkifi_, or LinkedIn, any of those.
Great stuff. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and let's hope that everyone who's watching this enjoyed understanding a little bit more about expert commentary, haro links, or expert quote links as part of digital PR.